Hello, how are you? I hope well. My name is Andre Maurice Davis, and I am happy to be bringing you this workout video for Mandala Sun Martial Arts in Portland, Maine. I have worked on this program with the group at Mandala Sun, and we think that we've put together something real special for you as a member at Mandala Sun Martial Arts in Portland, Maine. So, what is this program all about? Really, it's about getting you comfortable with your body and feel safe in moving your body in different ways. So we want to just start you off for the absolute beginner to get you comfortable with exercising and moving. We understand that you may have not really done much in terms of moving around physical activity in at least a long while. For those who have been active, this is a great exercise program for you to add to your own routines. They're very foundational exercises, basic exercises, excuse me, that are easy to incorporate, and maybe exercises that you used to do all the time and kind of forgot to. It's fun to switch back in to something else. And then for anybody else who's just interested in seeing different approaches to things, this is beneficial to you as well. So this is broken down really into sections to make it easy to go through. And the first section is going to be really just taking 5 minutes in your day. So without going into much else, we'll go ahead and start with that, and understanding that we are going to take 5 minutes in our day, every day, to do an exercise. And we're going to choose one of three exercises to do in those 5 minutes. And we're just going to take that 5 minutes to do that exercise. So the three exercises that we're going to choose from will be running, will be push-ups, or will be sit-ups. So running, push-ups, or sit-ups. Those are going to be the three exercises that we can choose from. If we aren't able to run, if we're, or we're not comfortable running, I personally do not like running, so I might choose this other option, which is squats. So push-ups, sit-ups, or running / squats. We'll go over each exercise to give everybody an understanding of what those are, but we'll leave it at that. So that's going to be your first. Welcome to the class. Welcome to the program. And that's your first homework assignment. Choose your exercise and do those for 5 minutes every day until we get to the next step of the program. Thanks a lot. Enjoy. Hello. Welcome to 5 minutes of sit-ups. This is the exercise that you've chosen to use your 5 minutes of daily exercise with. So welcome to it. The sit-ups are pretty straightforward. We're going to lay on our back. We're going to focus on using our hips and our core to move our upper body, to hinge our upper body into our knees. And we are going to try to stay stable with our lower body. So our butt is going to be planted on the ground and our feet are going to be planted on the ground. And we want to make sure that's stable as we go. While we do our sit-up, again, we're focusing on that hinge going up. And if we focus on that hinge, it's going to help us do the sit-up a little bit more comfortably once we recognize what muscles are supposed to be working. I know from personal experience in doing sit-ups in the past, when I was first working out or first being introduced to it, maybe not giving any direction as to anything other than you do a sit-up. And it is as basic as that, and it can be as basic as that. The difference is if I focus on my hip hinging, I'm using my hip muscles as well as my core muscles, my abdomen, to bring my hip up, and it's a much more comfortable movement. And I feel I'm getting a much better workout in that way. And also, it's always, in my opinion, great to think about our movements as we do them, so we have a good understanding of what we're doing overall. So, in the sit-up, as I've just explained it, before we actually do our exercise, I'll just do a quick demonstration to show you and give you a little bit of a aid if you struggle with keeping your feet down. First of all, before we show you the aid, let's move these out of the way and get in frame here. There we go. So, as I said, our face is our bottom part of our body. Our feet are flat on the ground. Our butt is also flat on the ground. We got our knees up, so we've got a little triangle going on. And if we lay back, you can see our knees, and we can bring our knees up to a comfortable level so it doesn't feel like there's a strain, but just so the weight is down. We really don't want to put a lot of work. We're not really putting focus onto our lower body in this exercise. As far as our arms are concerned, we are going to have them behind our head for now. So there are different places that you can, different variations of sit-ups. If you're more comfortable putting them on your chest, feel free to do that. I'm going to suggest putting it behind your head because that's how I prefer to do it. And I prefer to do it that way because it also gives me a little bit of an opening. It gives me another thing to focus on. I can focus on keeping my elbows out as I go. It's just a better workout for me. I enjoy that. And as we come up, as I said, we want to focus on the hinge in the hip. So if I'm just curling my back up like this, from the laying down, if I curl it up slowly, I can slowly start feeling my abdomen start flexing as I go. And then as I slowly curl back down, I can still and resist just dropping down, resist gravity. I can still feel my core tight, or my abdomen tightened up, and I feel my neck tight as well. So I'm going to try to loosen up my neck as I do that, and just focus on my core, on my abdomen, and then set it down. And if I slowly bring it up one more time, and then keep going as much as we can, you're going to feel your abdomen really tight. You're not feeling your hips at all. You're not in a hinge at all. This is all abdomen work. So you feel yourself perhaps getting a little bit more tired as you hold it up there. And you feel more of your muscles up in your chest and your neck are starting to tighten up because it's trying to compensate for your abdomen. And when we relax, we'll just put our head back down and let our shoulders sink back down into the floor. And now we'll up one more time, but we're gonna bring ourselves all the way up so that our chest touches our knees. So our chest is gonna come all the way up to our knees, and we're gonna try to do it in as fluid as motion as we can. So we're just gonna use a fluid weight of our body, like we were just rolling it up before, slowly and controlling that. Now we're gonna roll it up and just keep going. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna give it a little bit more effort than we did before because we know we want to go all the way top. So we're gonna just roll and then up. So you'll notice once you got to that point past the abdomen, your hips engaged. And as you're up in this position with your chest up to your knees or close to it, if you can touch your knees, that's great. With your chest, that's great. If you can't, that's also great. It's fine for this. And as we're up in this position, we also want to take note of our hips and our how they're positioned. So if I want to keep my legs up and in, my muscles are engaging on the outside of my hips, my legs, to keep those engaged. All my weight's right now driving straight down on my butt. Not much weight is over to my feet at all. It's just stabilizing me. If I were to lift my feet up off the ground, I would probably tip over one way or the other. I'm stressing right now to keep my legs from falling out or going too far in. Actually, not so much too far in. I'm struggling to keep them in, but I'm activating the muscles on both sides going through. But this is just to express that the hips and the back and the outside of the legs and the inside of the legs, all of that engages at the top of your sit-up, as opposed to the first part of your sit-up where we're just engaging the abdomen. So if we go back down, we feel our hips relax and then our abdomen engage. Then we roll back down and then relax back. And if we do that in a fluid motion back and forth, that's our sit-ups. So if I place my hands behind my head like so, and then I go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now I had noted before that I like to keep my hands up so I can focus on keeping my elbows out. In those sit-ups, I was not doing that. Probably for this 5-minute sit-up, I won't do that. Maybe I'll focus on it a little bit, but I don't want to right now, so I'm not going to. If you are struggling to keep your feet down or your butt starts scooting around a lot and you're kind of moving all over the place, which is very common, I do it all the time, you can use some kettlebells if you have them, and put your feet in the handles. So they turn into little weights on your feet, and they will keep you in place as you do your sit-ups. They're not necessarily going to stop you from moving if you were to just let them do it on their own, but they will act as a cue for you to stay in place. Give it a try. All right, so let's get this sit-up party started. 5 minutes. All right, we'll try. There it is. 5 minutes sit-ups. Great job. Absolutely great job. See you again tomorrow. Hello. We are going to work on push-ups for our exercise. We're going in to do our 5 minutes of exercise, and the exercise that we have chosen to do for our 5 minutes are push-ups. So if you have not done a push-up before, or feel that you can't do a push-up in your typical standard push-up positioning, we can modify the push-up so that you're doing a push-up from your knees to lessen the weight that comes down and prevent injury if that's something that you're trying to do. We may need to work up to a level that you can handle more weight, which is fine. I will drop to, during this 5 minutes, will drop to my knees in order to get some push-ups out. As you do the push-ups in this 5 minutes, we'll only expect that you're doing a standard push-up or a modified push-up. However, if you're more advanced and want to have more fun with it, try different variations of push-ups. So you can do wide arm push-ups or triangle or diamond push-ups or triangle push-ups, however you want to put your fingers. There's the arrow push-ups, any archer push-ups, that's it. Any other variations that you want to try, feel free to do that in this 5 minute block of push-ups. But the key is that you are doing push-ups as you go. If you need to take a rest in between, to pause, certainly do that. But try to keep moving. So if you do need to rest, if you want to just get down onto your hands and knees rather than stopping and getting up, or putting yourself into a position that's completely out of the push-up prone position. So just to go over the push-up before we go through the exercise itself, we are going to start on our hands and knees like this, and we're going to place our hands underneath us, so that it becomes a straight line down from your shoulder down to your palm. This is a straight line on both sides. And then we are going to take our hands with the weight on the heels of our hand, the palms of our hand, and we just rotate out one, and then from our fingers, we're going to rotate out one more, and we're going to set there. So this is where we want our arms, our hand placement for our push-ups. We are going to take our legs and bring our knees back so that we're feeling the weight shift back a little bit more. And we can kind of start rocking and feel a weight differentiation. In different places, we can shift our weight from one arm to the other and bring it back and forward from our knees to our forward. So from this position, this is about where we want to be, where we're feeling probably about 60% of our weights on our arms and maybe 40% on our knees. We can bring our feet up like this comfortably, and we're just kind of hanging out here. So this is where we want to be for a modified push-up position. And when we do a push-up from a modified position or a standard position, we're just going to go down. And we want to bring our chest down so it's about touching the ground. We want to, if we lift our head up, our chin would be touching the ground. We don't want to lift our head up like that. Just keep our neck prone like that. Our chest is going to be about to the ground. And then we push up. So we go down, and we hold it down there just to see where the position is. And we push up. Push down. And then up. So as we do that, we want to think about how our elbows are feeling and where they're going. So as we bring our weight down, if we rotate our shoulders, we can notice that our elbows will rotate. And if we start bringing it down, we notice that we can still rotate our shoulders. So if we come back up, we can start thinking about that as we go down into our push-up. So for the most straight push-up, we want our elbows to go straight back. So we're going to control our shoulders so that as we go down, our elbows are still going straight back, and then we're going down to wherever we want to go to, and then we can push straight up, and those shoulders still remain turned in. So that's how we make sure we're not injuring ourselves. We can focus on that type of movement. So we go down, and then back up. So that's from the modified push-up position. So if we don't want to use the modified position, we can take from the modified position, take our feet, put our toes down, kick out our leg, kick out our leg, and then kind of shift a little bit so that our weight's about where we were, but the weight's a little bit more like 80% on our shoulders versus our legs. And with our feet, we're going to put them about shoulder width apart, not too wide, or not shoulder width, I'm sorry, waist width apart. So same deal. Go down, and then up, and then down, and then up. So that's what we will do for 5 minutes. Make sure when we are doing these, you know, notice your body. Notice where you may start feeling a little bit of pain. Go down into a modified push-up when you need to, and take a break. Take a breather if you need to. But if you are taking a break, try to take a break in a kneeling position. Uh, if you can, if you're having a problem with your shoulders, if that's where the issue is, we can lean back a little bit like that. Try to get some stretching in on the shoulders. If that's not feeling good, if it's hurting you, then we can come back up and just rest on our knees, do some shoulder rolls, stretch out whatever it is in that time that's going down for the 5 minutes. So let's get a list started. Ooh. Yeah. Woo! There we go. 5 minutes. Good job. Whew. Thanks for keeping it up. 5 minutes of push-ups. That's a lot of work. Welcome to the program. Hope to see you keeping up. Do it again tomorrow. Hello. We are going to carry on with the practice of taking 5 minutes out of our day to do an exercise. And if we're feeling more inclined to stack up those 5 minutes, we can do several exercises throughout the course of the day in 5 minute chunks, depending on what we feel comfortable doing. Not all of our exercises have to be vigorous in nature. We can certainly take time for ourselves for 5 minutes in a far more relaxed but active way. And that comes from being active in recognizing your body, being conscious, being in the moment, and focusing on what your body is doing in that moment and making your body do something. uh, Understanding your expectation and making your body meet that expectation. They don't have to be fancy movements. And in fact, what we're going to do in this exercise is absolutely still. You are not moving at all on a macro level. You're moving in the sense of you're making minor adjustments to your posture, but you won't be moving. We'll be focusing on our weight. We'll be focusing on our body, our joints, and our alignment going through. We're gonna feel where our body, our muscles are working when we're off balance, and we'll get an understanding of where our posture is in a day to day. So just by taking 5 minutes in your day on a regular basis, every day, whatever you want to do, even just this one time that we do it here, it's going to put your mind in it, give you a different perspective of your body, especially if you haven't done anything like this before. You're going to come out of it understanding your body a little bit more and being able to make adjustments in your everyday to find that alignment that you like. So let's just explain it a little bit before we go into the exercise itself. As I said, we're going to focus on our weight and being even and understanding where it's distributed in our body. So if we stand, we can do this in a number of ways. It depends on your level of balance, what you're comfortable with in your natural stance. So my natural stance is about here. I feel comfortable. I can move around a little bit. I feel planted. I can go for a broader stance. It's not a natural stance, but I feel sturdy. I'm comfortable in this stance. I'm probably, if I'm concentrating on just what's going on with my hips and the weight settling, this is a more comfortable stance. It's a lot easier than it is up here. I do want to do this exercise in a more upright position, as much of an upright position as I can now, because that's where I'm going to be working my balance and understanding. As I go broader out, it's going to be more comfortable. So if you're new to any of these types of movements, or there's something, maybe your back is a little bit sore, you're having issues, feel free to try broadening your stance, bringing it out a little bit, and really focusing there. Uh, if we, if you're familiar with a horse stance, that's another great way we could do it from the horse stance position. This would be for a more advanced student or person taking this course. Uh, but we'd come down into horse stance. We have other courses that we can go over how to actually go through a horse stance. But this would be the same thing. We'd be concentrating on our weight distribution going down. But if we're going to start from the start, again, I like to stand with my feet actually together. This would be the closest I can get my feet. If you're going to go the next step out, I would say do it with the fist between your toes, the knuckles of your toes, and that'll be a narrow stance. So your feet together is what I'm going to do. This would be a narrow stance. This would be a regular stance, more of a natural stance, whatever is comfortable if you're just kind of standing naturally. Probably about what you would pace out if you were walking. And then a wider stance if you're really feeling like you need to, this would be level one, would be a wider stance. And then, as I mentioned before, go down into horse stance if you want to go to a more advanced 5-minute exercise here. So we're going to start here. I'm going to have my feet together. And the first thing that I'm going to do is find my center and just drive my weight down. Focus my weight going down to my center point. So if I'm fine, and that's just finding my balance. So I can find my balance by shifting my weight one way or the other, side to side, front or back. And as I do that, I can feel my feet activating and kind of gripping on the ground. So my feet are the sensory parts of my body now. This is my feet are sensing my area around me and telling me if I'm on balance or not. So I have a lot of surface area on my foot. What I'm going to do is focus on 3 points on each foot. So I want to focus between my big toe and my toe next to that, and the knuckle, in between the pinky toe and the toe next to that on the knuckle, same foot, and then the heel is going to be the 3rd point on one foot. 3 points on the other foot, 6 points overall. So if I focus on those and I think about balancing and feeling the weight hit those points specifically, then I know that I'm in balance at my feet. And that doesn't mean that the rest of my body is in balance, but I'm sensing on my feet that I'm in balance. So now what I can do is think about my ankles now. If my feet are there, now I want to think about my ankles and then my knees. So I want to try to get my balance and understand that I want my ankles to be underneath my knees. I want my knees to be above my ankles. And then we come up to the waist and my hips. I want my pelvis to be tilted forward. So tilted up this way. Tilted forward. And then between my hips and my sternum, I'm going to make a slight adjustment to go ahead and straighten out my back. So this whole time as I'm doing that, I'm keeping in mind, because I've been working my way up, I've been trying to keep that balance going all the way through. Now that I'm up to my sternum, I can try to separate between my hips and my sternum. I want to try to make that space bigger. I feel like in here, I'm not extended, so I can extend that just by lifting up my torso And now I've extended it some more. So now my hip and my sternum separated a little bit. There's some space. Now I've got my neck to think about. So I want my neck to be, my chin to be back. I want my neck to be straight. I want my head to be back. And now that that's in line, I can just focus on lifting straight up my spine as if there's a rope just pulling my spine straight up. And then with my shoulders, I don't want to raise them up or make them tight. So I just want to kind of keep them independent of the rest of my body, let them loose, let them hang. Keep pulling up on my spine as I do that, just to recognize that separation. And then breathe and just feel that weight centered. Focus on your hips. Recognize if your torsos, if you're separate, if that's starting to drop down a little bit. Recognize if your hips are starting to tilt or your pelvis is starting to tilt back. Make sure you're tilting that forward. As you tilt that forward, we don't want to tighten our abs, so try to go ahead and relax your abdomen if that's the case, if it's tightening up as you rotate your hips forward. And then we're gonna go ahead and let that go for 5 minutes. Really just focusing on that. We can listen to some music while we do that. We can do it in silence. You can close your eyes. You can do it in the dark. There's all kinds of things, all kinds of ways you want to do that, however it's comfortable for you. But it's a great way to really just open up your body, stretch out a little bit without being really active. You can stay in one space. You don't need any more room than standing, and go from there. So we'll do this. I will be quiet while we do this, just out of respect for you. If you want to be quiet, as you do it as well. But I recommend if you feel anxious, being quiet, being still. Feel free to listen to some music as loud as you want. Put on some headphones if you want to. Um, but yeah, so we'll do this for 5 minutes. Just as you do it, just try to focus on keeping your body straight, keeping your spine straight, and your weight shifted. And if it takes you all of the 5 minutes to line up your body, that's fine. That's what you're working on for the 5 minutes. So that's where we're at. I'll go ahead and start it up and get going. So just find your space. All right, that's 5 minutes. Move, get your body back in motion, and yeah, that's a simple 5 minute exercise we can do. If we're tired that day in the morning and we want to go ahead and just have, if we're doing only one a day, let's just say this would be a good way to replace that. Far less intensive physically. And it's a good way to meditate. I believe that meditation is important in some way, shape, or form. Meditation doesn't always mean what we traditionally think of meditation as, where we're sitting down and being silent. I find walking and thinking as a good way to meditate for myself. I think meditation is just about focus and finding something to focus on. So this exercise here allows us to focus on our whole body, aligning our body, shifting our weight, and breathing. So enjoy the exercise. Come on down to the studio at Mandala Sun Martial Arts in Portland, Maine, and we'll be happy to work on these exercises with you, add on some more, and it'd be great to get to know you. So anyway, we'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of this class, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hello. Thank you for staying with this program and doing the exercises for 5 minutes. For some of you, that is a big step forward. 5 minutes of your day. It seems like a lot, and then for some of you, it is just another thing in the day. So in any case, we're going to spend the next 5 minutes running. So if you don't have a treadmill or someplace to run, a track to run around, or a block to run around, inside or outside, you can always run in place if you'd like to do that. Otherwise, you can come down to the studio at Mandala Sun Martial Arts in Portland, Maine, where there is this treadmill available for you to use. Or if you are not going to be running, you can do the alternative to that exercise in this program, which are squats, which we'll show in another video. But for this video, we'll be running, and I'll just be running. So you can use this as something to run along with, or find some music to listen to, whatever the case may be. But I'm about to start the timer and then jump on my treadmill here and run. So we'll set a speed of 5 miles per hour, seems appropriate. Running is not my jam, but maybe it's something I'll get into. We'll see. I ran track in high school, cross country for a little while. shoes. Find one that's comfortable, that you feel like you can keep a steady pace with for a full 5 minutes. That's the goal in choosing the speed. So if you need to slow it down, I may actually slow this down. Maybe I'll keep it up. When I am running, well, typically I walk. That's how I get my moving, my leg movement, this everything. But I like to listen to podcasts, audiobooks is what I first started listening to. Either that or YouTube. I'll just find some talks or news conferences or whatever I'm interested in. There's tons of stuff on there. Put those on and listen away. But music's always great. Most people like music, right? And it's a nice opportunity. If you do enjoy music, finding new music to listen to, just, I've used that for that. Like a Spotify playlist. I just find random, like if I can think of a genre that somebody's told me about, I'll go ahead and put that in and check it out. Same with YouTube, if you don't have Spotify. It isn't so bad. I'm not worried about turning it down. 5 miles an hour for 5 minutes is fine for me. But go at whatever speed that you are comfortable with. And perhaps it is just walking for 5 minutes. That's fine too. Almost done. 30 more seconds. And you run 0.38 miles. So almost half a mile. If that's interesting to you. And that's at this speed, so maybe that's your challenge. Give you 5 minutes, see how far you can go. And that's it. Stop the belt. Stop the belt. The run is done. And that is that. 5 minutes of running. Great job. Thanks for sticking out. And yeah, do it again tomorrow.